Sometimes life starts with lines. Straight, clear, consistent. Who you are, what you own, where you belong, all seemingly predetermined. But with time, those lines begin to crack. They break, they bend, and one day you look in the mirror and don't recognize your own reflection. My name was Nora Lancaster, or so I thought. Now I am a woman without a name, but with the destiny she drew herself. The wounds in my soul, with every brushstroke, every line, began to heal. Just like a broken vase becomes even more unique with new patterns. I lived in that grand mansion in Santa Barbara. Every day I learned what it meant to bear the Lancaster name. Every morning I'd wake up in silk sheets to the sound of the ocean. Beyond my window, an endless blue, the distant sound of waves. But this luxury only magnified the emptiness within me. Every room felt like a labyrinth I was drowning in. Tired of pretending, of being invisible, of lying even to myself. It was as if all that splendor around me was a veil, making me even more indistinct. And Gregory, my husband, successful, cold, unattainable, the face of Lancaster Holdings. He never touched me. He didn't love me. He simply owned me. Our marriage was like a business deal, everything by the book but soulless. At first, I attributed his distant demeanor to his dedication to work, but with time, I realized that distance was an abyss that would never close. I, on the other hand, was once a graphic designer, a woman who thought in colors, dreamed in lines, whose soul came alive at the touch of paper. I had small but to me enormous projects, burning with an artistic passion. My own studio was my sanctuary, until I took Gregory's last name and stepped into the Lancaster world. From that moment on, everything fell silent. My brushes, my pencils, my sketchbooks were put away. The artist within me was rotting behind golden bars. My life had become a flawless surface on a hollow canvas. That passionate Nora, like a ghost, wandered the mansion's corridors. Every day, I faded a little more.
But every fairy tale ends by looking into a broken mirror. My fairy tale, however, began with the first crack in that mirror. And that crack was a betrayal. That mirror mercilessly reflected my false life. Gregory's coldness had become a habit over the years. Every day, silent meals at the same table, separate dreams in the same bed, different worlds in the same house. The loneliness was like a poison filling my lungs. There was a silent scream building inside me, waiting for the right moment to burst out. That night, I thought it was just another Monday. My eyes caught his phone lying on the nightstand, an open message. My eyes latched onto the words. I'll never forget the night I spent with you in that hotel room. Can't wait for a repeat. And below, an unfamiliar name. My world, in that instant, turned upside down. In that very moment, something inside me snapped. A cold punch to my stomach. My breath caught, my head spun. I felt the world crumble beneath my feet. Anger erupted, a flood that overwhelmed my entire being. My tears tasted metallic, mixed with bitterness and disappointment. My heart broke its silence, pounding as if to burst from my chest. All the accumulated pain, all the disappointment of years had suddenly erupted onto the surface with that tiny text. The cold hand of betrayal had gripped my heart tightly. I waited for him, hours of waiting. With each passing minute, my anger grew, my resolve hardened. When he finally arrived, I looked him in the face and, with a trembling but determined voice, asked him. There was no regret in his eyes, no explanation. That familiar, cold, expressionless mask settled back onto his face. His lying silence screamed the truth, and that night, for the first time, I told myself, go. It was like a command echoing in my mind. It's over, Gregory, it's ending. I'm leaving this house. He just nodded. In that moment, I saw his acceptance of this inevitable end. His indifference only further fueled the fire within me. I didn't want to withdraw silently, to disappear. No, I didn't just want revenge, I wanted justice. As I packed my belongings, wandering through the rooms like a ghost, my gaze fell upon Gregory's deceased father's library. When I entered the room, the heavy scent of old books filled my nostrils. It was as if a hand pushed me toward a shelf. My eye caught an old, leather-bound journal. As I turned the pages, a crumpled, yellowed envelope fell out. It simply read, "For Nora." My heart pounded. I opened it. Astonishment etched on my face. Inside was an old will, written in my father-in-law's distinctive, elegant handwriting. I read it. The will stated that I was also a partner in Lancaster Holdings, with a 10% share. A secret inheritance no one knew about. A secret Gregory, along with his family, had hidden from me. This was a shock, a miracle for me. Gregory's father had not condoned the injustice. Suddenly, the door creaked open slightly. Old, loyal butler, Alfred, peered in. His face held both sadness and a profound understanding. He approached me silently, his voice a trembling whisper.
Mr. Lancaster trusted you, Miss Nora. He was proud to see someone like you within this family. This document, I had to give it to you. The time has come.
As I held the will in my hands, my fingers trembled. That paper didn't just state a percentage. It stated my identity, my worth, and my right. That will wasn't just about money. It was my honor, my identity. It was the awakening of that woman who had been smoldering within me. After a moment of devastation, this document shone like a lantern lit within me. I wouldn't retreat, and I decided not to leave. I wouldn't be just the abandoned woman bowing down. I would be a woman who returned, confronted, and claimed what was rightfully hers. The door to that golden cage had opened, and I wouldn't fly out, but fight out. This inheritance was my trump card, a chance to make them pay for what they had put me through. I wanted to see how all the power that the Lancaster name brought them would turn into a weapon in my hands. After escaping that opulent hell in Santa Barbara, my first refuge was San Francisco. The city's energy, its foggy streets, its bohemian spirit. For me, it wasn't just a city, but a harbor. My sister, Olivia, she was more than just a harbor. She was a compass, a voice, a rock. I moved in with her. Olivia, in her late 30s, was a sharp, determined law graduate. She was among the first to sense my silence, my unhappiness, the decay within me. In her gaze, I always found understanding, compassion. I told her everything. Gregory's betrayal, the shocking discovery of the will, the burning desire for revenge that consumed me. As I spoke, the trembling in my voice subsided, replaced by resolve. There was no surprise or judgment in her eyes, just unwavering support and determination.
I'm with you, Nora. No matter what. What do you want? Do you want to fight? Or...
She looked into my eyes. Her strength passed to me. I nodded. Yes, Olivia, I want to fight. I want to take everything back. I want to take myself back. In that moment, I felt our war begin. Olivia would be my strongest weapon. The bohemian, free-spirited atmosphere of San Francisco did my soul good. Every corner of the city overflowed with creativity. With Olivia's support, I began to revive the old Nora. I rented a small design studio. It was a little shop on the street, its display window filled with colorful paints. I even named it Broken Line Studio. From broken lines, I would create a new whole. My fingers began to dance with colors and lines again. The artist sleeping within me reawakened, creating. How much I had missed it. Every line, every brush stroke healed the wounds within me. I felt as if I was breathing again. My lost identity was returning with every design. Art was my refuge, my rebirth. I was now Nora Sterling. I had begun to exist under my own name, with my own vision. As I tried to adjust to this new chapter of my life, something unexpected happened. An echo from the past. Julian Reyes, my childhood sweetheart, the unforgettable face of my university years. I saw him at an art gallery opening in Santa Barbara. I was there for my own work. When our eyes met, years seemed to vanish. My heart began to beat with a strange rhythm. Sweet memories of the past mingled with complex present emotions. When he said my name, my world stood still for a moment. I felt both surprise and a strange familiarity. When I asked him what he was doing, he just smiled. "Perhaps fate has brought us together again, Nora," he said. At first, it seemed like just a romantic encounter, but I had a strange suspicion. Was he the old Julian or a new Julian, transformed by years, a driven businessman? Then I realized that his presence in Santa Barbara wasn't just a coincidence. Julian was pursuing a strategic plan seeking a share of the Lancaster family's hidden assets. He saw my inheritance lawsuit as an opportunity for his own gain. At first, this bothered me. I didn't know whether to trust him or to be suspicious. But his intelligence and ambition could be a tool for my fight. Perhaps this was a chance fate was offering me. The Lancaster family was shaken by the discovery of the will, especially Gregory's sister, Margot Lancaster. Margot, in her late 30s, cold, calculating, sharp as a viper, but soulless. Her ambition overshadowed everyone else. She was ready to do anything to become the sole ruler of the family fortune. Upon learning of my intention, she immediately sprang into action. Gregory continued to remain in Margot's shadow. He opposed Nora's demand, but his voice was weak.
What you're doing isn't just hurting you, Nora. It's hurting all of us. Stop this.
I looked at him, and for the first time, I wasn't afraid. "You've silenced me for years. Now it's my turn," I said. My voice was like steel. Olivia, my lawyer, officially initiated the inheritance lawsuit. Months of preparations, legal documents, research. When the summons reached the Lancaster mansion, a storm was brewing. This wasn't just an inheritance case. It would also have the effect of a bomb exploding within the family. I felt an indescribable power inside me. The silent Nora was gone. A warrior spirit had replaced her. As the inheritance lawsuit began, Margot's true colors became even more apparent. She was not just protecting the family fortune. She was also determined to ruin my life. She began to expertly manipulate the media, secretly taken photos of my renewed closeness with Julian adorned newspaper headlines. Gold digger bride, unfaithful wife, scandalous affair. Headlines came one after another. They were everywhere, on every corner. It was as if every eye judged me, every whisper turned into gossip about me. My freedom was stolen. The new career I built, that small studio, everything was in jeopardy. My clients stopped calling. My phone went silent. My studio door felt locked. I thought of giving up. What would I say to people? How would I explain these lies? Olivia's words in those moments wrapped around me like armor. She said, "This is their game, Nora. They want to wear you down, but you are stronger than them. We will overcome these lies. I will never leave your side." Her voice was like a sanctuary in the midst of a storm. Pes etmeyecektim. Olivia's faith in me reignited my faith in myself. Julian also witnessed the media storm. That initial cold, calculating investor mask had begun to crack. He was giving small hints that he wanted to protect me, that his feelings were sincere. His feelings for me were growing into a real and deep love. I felt that he wanted to protect me, but at the same time, he hadn't completely abandoned his own strategic plans. This duality made him a complex character. I saw both ambition and regret in his eyes. Would he be on my side or on his own? This question would become clear in the courtroom. One evening, as I sat alone in my studio, Julian knocked on my door. There was a strange expression on his face.
He came inside and spoke in a tired voice.
At first, I thought differently, Nora. But now I've seen how strong you are. I admire the way you fight. And what I feel for you. It's gone beyond my plans.
I wanted to believe him. Perhaps he had truly changed. Perhaps love was illuminating that gray area within him. His words made me feel that I wasn't alone. But the most dangerous blow was the fake will. Margot had prepared a forged document bearing Gregory's signature. Allegedly, I had no rights whatsoever in Lancaster Holdings. This was not just a smear campaign, but also a legal fraud. The height of Margot's unscrupulousness. Olivia worked day and night. We found the old butler again and received new vital clues. We followed up on old correspondence from Gregory's father's notary, suspicious bank transfers, and even recordings of Margot's secret meetings. Every clue led us to the center of this massive web of lies Margot had spun. And Julian, transcending his gray areas, as if to prove his trust in me, he gave us the email records of Margot's private meetings and a secretly recorded phone call where he exposed Margot herself. This was a huge risk for him. This was a blow that turned the tide of the war. Now we had concrete evidence. Olivia was like a true legal hawk. She worked day and night to prove all of Margot's dirty games and her attempt at a fake will. Her determination fueled my faith. Olivia looked under every stone, evaluated every lead. Working with her, my self-belief also grew. Seeking justice was for me, reclaiming my very essence. Every new piece of evidence lit a spark of hope within me, illuminating my path. And then Julian. My complicated but now steadfast Julian. As if to prove the authenticity of his feelings for me, he shared all his information with Olivia. Margot's meetings with her lawyers, the process of preparing the fake will, her plans to discredit me. Everything came to light through an email chain and audio recordings. Julian's wolf-like shrewd brain was now working for justice. His move had restored my trust in him. This was proof that he had abandoned his initial plans, that he was truly on my side. I was no longer alone. We were like a formidable army. When the day of the inheritance trial arrived, the Santa Barbara courthouse felt like a carnival ground. Cameras, journalists, a curious crowd. As I entered that courtroom, all eyes were on me. My past, my future, my entire being depended on the outcome of this moment. Margot, self-assured, with a mocking smile, presented the fake will to the court. When she took the stand, her voice echoed through the courtroom. She accused me of being a gold digger, an unfaithful woman. Nora merely approached our family for money, she declared, her voice icy. There was pure hatred in her eyes. Olivia's cross-examination began. Calmly, confidently, she asked questions. Margot's every answer entangled her in her own lies. Inconsistencies emerging. The self-assured expression on her face slowly began to crack. Tension soared. And then, the moment came. Olivia walked to the stand to present the evidence.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we possess concrete evidence proving that Ms. Margot Lancaster engaged in forgery with the intent to invalidate the original will. This email chain and these audio recordings clearly reveal her correspondence with her lawyers, the process of preparing the fraudulent will, and the campaign to discredit our client, Nora Sterling. This is not merely a quest for justice. It is an overt act of fraud.
Olivia presented the documents, and a sudden hum rose in the courtroom. Margot's face turned deathly white. In her eyes, first shock, then denial, then pure, frantic rage appeared. A choked scream escaped her lips, and she collapsed into her chair. Her mask of success was shattered. Cameras flashed. In that moment, before the eyes of the entire world, I watched Margot Lancaster's downfall. All that arrogance, all that manipulation, it all crumbled in an instant. The accumulated anger of years in that moment gave way to an indescribable satisfaction.
Justice had been served. I looked at Gregory. He was there too, sitting at the very back of the courtroom, his face drawn, his back hunched. He avoided my gaze. I saw a hint of regret in his eyes, but it wasn't enough to save him. He was paying the price for his betrayal, his inability to resist Margot's dirty games, his own spinelessness. He had stood by as his own family crumbled. He was alone, utterly alone. In that moment, I understood that for him too, everything was over. There was neither anger nor pity left in my heart for him, only an emptiness.
The case concluded. The original will was deemed valid, and I became the legal owner of 10% of Lancaster Holdings. This money not only gave me financial independence, but also the freedom to choose. I decided to expand my small design office in San Francisco. Under the name Broken Lines Studio, I worked to realize my own artistic vision. With each passing day, more clients, more projects. In my designs, I was creating a new whole from broken lines. Each pattern was a symbol of my rebirth. I was no longer Gregory's wife. I was Nora Sterling, an independent artist and businesswoman, existing by her own name, with her own talent. This was my true victory. I hadn't just escaped the golden cage. I had learned to fly with my own wings. I was creating my own masterpiece. As for Margot, with the scandal and forgery exposed, she was completely ostracized by the Lancaster family. She lost her social and financial power. Her glittering life vanished in an instant. No one wanted to mention her name anymore. Some said she was committed to a mental institution, others that she had vanished into poverty. I didn't care. That was her price. Her ambition's ultimate destination was utter ruin. Gregory, meanwhile, he paid the price for his betrayals and spinelessness. His family also turned their backs on him because of the scandal Margot caused. He lost both me and his respectable life. He was alone, filled with regret, doomed to live like a shadow, constantly battling the ghosts of the past. He would spend the rest of his life in a prison of his own making. And Julian? Julian paid the price for his love for me and his decision to do what was right. All his business connections with the Lancaster family were severed. He was shunned by the financial world for a while. But this loss gave him the chance to earn my true affection. Our relationship was complex, yes. His past strategic intentions, my past grievances, but there was also a love that had rekindled. His honesty and the sacrifices he made for me had slowly begun to mend the broken lines between us. It wasn't a perfectly happy ending. Nothing is ever perfect. But we had the potential for a hopeful relationship, built on mutual respect and understanding. Perhaps this was the best happily ever after in the real world. Now I'm in my studio in San Francisco with a notebook full of sketches for new designs. Every line tells of a new beginning within me. Every detail symbolizes the strength I've rediscovered. I am drawing my own masterpiece, redefining my life. Sometimes I go back to Santa Barbara, not to the mansion, just to the beach, to the places where I grew up, where the ocean always inspired me. I pick up my notebook. New ideas emerge in my mind. I gently tear out a page. That page, perhaps it's the old me. I let it go into the wind. It blends with the waves, disappears. Those waves whisper the turmoil, the storms, and the peace I've finally found in my soul. I've left the past behind, looking to the future with hope. The more they tried to blacken my name, the more I redrew myself. My life's lines broke, yes, but sometimes even broken lines
create a stronger, more real picture. My own masterpiece.